Hey everyone, and welcome back. Okay, it is almost the weekend before Shadowlands. We are almost there. And that means, right, you've probably got just that boundless energy that comes with anticipating some big new WoW content and a big old reset to get into. But you might know what to do with it because you can't play Shadowlands yet. Well, that is what today's video is all about. It's all about how you can harness that giddy pre-expansion energy to get some useful stuff done and be able to hop in to the game on launch day ready to have an absolutely great time, or at least as great as is possible. Speaking of things that are possible, we have loot this November, which means that it was possible to do. We do a fresh set of loot every single month. What a smooth segue. We went ham for this month, of course. We've got our 2020 edition channel pin. We have got the Demon Hunter class pin. There's lots of depth, sort of luster. These are very satisfying to look at, having the hat. And of course, there is the fantasy art, perfect for if you want a bit of those Enchanted Forest vibes within your home. It all goes back into us doing more on the channels, and trust me, Shadowlands is going to be a real chunky, big old time. The whole team's going flat out, having a great time making content for you all. So, thank you patrons, let's go. Number one, the very obvious thing is that the uncorrupted Voidwing is leaving World of Warcraft when Shadowlands comes out. That means if you have not defeated N'Zoth Heroic, just go do it before reset. Before BFA, this is a fun little anecdote, Matt's on our team, but he got Mythic Argus literally on the last possible attempt before the servers went down for Prepatch. Pretty dicey, but I bring up the story to say there's hope for you as well. You can get that real sweet mount to cap off BFA. Next up, and this is simple enough, the Prepatch event is super powerful for gear. BFA geared characters will be fine, but freshly dinged 50s will feel quite weak as they enter the Shadowlands, at least in my experience. I mean, my Hunter was only item level 56 when it hit level 50. And that gear from the event is item level like 100. So yeah, I'm going to be doing this over the next few days too. Now, a full set of Argent Conscript gear, which is item level 100, costs, I think, 135 Argent Commendations. So how many commendations do you actually earn? Well, with week 2's dailies also existing, you will get around 17 a day, but then there is the Scourge Stones. So pitch black Scourge Stones drop from the rare bosses. Now, these used to spawn every 20 minutes. Now, Blizz just changed it, they spawn every 10 minutes. And that means you can get through a whole bunch of these so much quicker than, well, literally twice as fast as you could have in week 1 of Prepatch. Now, if you kill all 20 of those bosses, you will get around 800 pitch black Scourge Stones. These 800 can be turned in for 96 commendations, which is, funny enough, almost enough for you to get a full set for your character. Now, this isn't a super effective use of time. I mean, you'll be about 140 item level by the time you actually cap in Shadowlands, but I'll say this, you know, getting a few bosses a day, doing some of the dailies, that'll get you caught up and your character will hit Bastion, being able to, well, destroy things. Next up, we've got the rabbit hole that could really take a lot of hours out of your weekend. So, our Keybinds video went down super well with people, and the whole point of that was for basically us to help you make World of Warcraft a more fun game for you to play by improving its controls. Because if your binds are good, your Shadowlands experience will have less friction, you'll feel more in control of your character, more powerful, and that'll mean you'll have more fun. Oh, and also, UI, that is another thing. So we just put our UI video up, and I should also mention, because a lot of people said the UI was very small in terms of scale, we actually, in the post, we've got a large and a small preset for the UI. So there's that. I mean, hey, like in terms of all this stuff, you know, at a minimum, you're going to have 2 new buttons from your covenants. You're then going to have the unpruning giving you a few more. So getting your keybinds and your UI in order here, you're going to have to do it. I mean, setups that could scrape by in BFA, they're going to fall over in Shadowlands because the game just has more buttons now. But, you know, we've got our videos there. There's also our spreadsheet tool for doing your keybinds, which should help you out as well. Also, there's add-ons. We did just publish as well our big chunky video on all of our add-on recommendations. There'll be a lot for you to tinker with over the weekend contained in that video. But once you do, I mean, you're going to have a great time. We've got lots of real handy stuff. I mean, for the Mythic Plus players and the Raiders, if you don't know about this stuff, with some of the weak ores we've got rolling, rolling there as our suggestions, really good quality of life improvements. So I would really recommend just getting all of this stuff in order before Shadowlands comes out, because you can do it right now, and that'll mean when the cool new WoW expansion is out, you won't be fiddling around with your UI. You'll have that finished and done with. Next up, a quick PSA that you literally cannot do right now, but you should be aware of as soon as it ticks over to launch. So, whenever Shadowlands drops, relog into all of your current level 50 characters. Why? Well, at that point, when Shadowlands is out, the level cap will have increased to level 60, and those characters will, they'll no longer be considered max level by the game. So if you log into them, that will actually trigger rested experience to start accumulating. So just do that. It'll be really handy when you're going around leveling up your alts and you've got 2 full bars, out of the 10 you've got to level that are full of rested XP. So pretty easy win. All right, this one's important. Launch timing. Shadowlands is the second World of Warcraft expansion to have a global simultaneous release. So here in Greenwich Mean Time land, Shadowlands launches Monday at 11 p.m. That's midnight for Central European time. The Americans do get pretty lucky though, where for them Shadowlands releases 3 p.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Eastern on Monday, so you'll actually get a full evening of play. But don't feel too good about yourself, because guess who's coming in to beat the whole lot of us? The bloody Aussies, because they get to start playing Shadowlands in their local time at 10 a.m. Meaning that, the bastards get to play for a much longer time on launch day than we do. Now, of course, literally Shadowlands goes live everywhere at the same time, but the times there are just how it converts into local timing. So, of course, be sure to prep your day and prep basically what you want to do and how to roll with your sleep schedule and all that stuff. The next up, I want you to be happy and I want you to enjoy Shadowlands. So, is your desk a total mess? Because if it is, you're not going to have as good of a time sitting at it for a long time. So I'm going to say, do a few things. Get yourself a bin for your desk, right? Go to IKEA, whatever, get a cheap bin. Just one you can put there, because too often, we're snacking, whatever, we put rubbish in our peripheral vision, but still on our desk, right? You know what it's like. You can see this path to your monitor, your keyboard, your mouse. It's all fine, but then, oh dear, it looks like somebody upended Asmongold's snack box there and there. It's not good. So you can fix that by just getting a quick bin to throw things in. I would also say cable management, right? Does your mouse lead tug on your desk in an annoying way? Is your phone charger too far away or messy or whatever? Do you have monitor cables in your direct vision? You could do a lot of stuff to make all of this stuff a bit nicer. Go to a hardware store, get some command strips, whatever, and get going. Personally, I'd recommend getting a VESA arm for your monitor. If you have super fast delivery, you could probably get one in time, but I think that's a real game changer for how comfortable it is. It can just help so much for cable management and also for ergonomics. Oh yeah, ergonomics. What about that? Do you want a wrist rest for your computer? Is the top of your monitor roughly at eye level? There's a lot to consider for ergonomics, more than we can cover in this video, but we'll put a few links down below just to give you some, some jumping off points there. Because seriously, playing WoW with an aching body sucks, but you can avoid that pretty easily. Also, I would maybe consider doing some light meal prep or just thinking about meals or stuff if you're really going to be going try hard. You can find plenty in the meal prep topic around YouTube. I would say though, don't subject yourself to borderline salmonella, brown rice and chicken that's done in an overcrowded pan full of chicken water. That's a bit gnarly. But I would say this, having a moderately healthy baseline of food, it's going to give you longer energy, you're going to feel better, and hey, it's going to give you headroom for some snacking. Sure, look, it ain't time to count the calories. I'm not one of those people who's going to be like, listen, for the optimal Shadowlands experience, drink 17 liters of water and eat kale for a week. But, being real, if, most of your intake, of calories, right, if that's going to be subpar nutritional food, I'd say at least consider how can you get some nutritious stuff in just so that you're feeling good in body and mind, because that stuff really matters. Another thing which you can do, by the way, is you can work in some reasonable fast food. It's one of the handy things with, stuff like Deliveroo popping up where you can actually get stuff from restaurants. As an example, there's a really good sushi place near me, so I can Deliveroo some, some rolls there, some sashimi, and, well, that's just going to make for a pretty reasonable and quick dinner. I'd then also say one thing I've noticed is that exercise is really handy in times like this. Getting better sleep is something that happens when you do some exercise, gives you a bit more energy. It's good for your brain, just your mental health. So look, that can be a walk, it can be a brisk walk, it can be a run. I've been doing a few 5Ks. Another thing I've been doing is some pretty intense Beat Saber. Yes, I look like an absolute tit when I'm doing it, but does get the old heart rate up, and I found that stuff's helped me sleep, and it's actually helped me to, enjoy things a bit more in life, and certainly that's something that I'm working in to my personal Shadowlands plan, because Shadowlands, I want to go the distance. Next, get your affairs in order. Not like that, though yes, we are going to the land of the dead, but seriously, take a look at your pending to-dos in your life. Like, what can you get done over this weekend? And I'd say this, too. You can use work from home to your advantage. Now, I'm not going to advocate anything that could possibly get you in trouble with your employer, but, I mean, hey, if you are working from home, could you get ahead of things over the weekend and free up some more time next week? Maybe it's possible with whatever your situation is. That's what I'm doing personally. As an example, I'm going absolutely mad this week so that I can have a few days of just playing Shadowlands where I'm not doing really anything that's kind of work stuff. I just want to jump into the expansion and really, do it like I'm 18 or something like that again, So yeah, if you're anything like me, you've probably got loads of little tasks that you've put off. Now, this weekend, right? Use that Shadowlands is about to come out motivation too. Do all that boring adult shit. May as well do it. Okay, next up, lore. Look, if you'd like to understand the lore of this expansion from a very character sort of basis, check out this video. It will help you out a bunch. Then, another set of videos for you to see is our Lich King lore videos. Now that's the Lich King, both Arthas and Bolvar. It's a two-part series. It might blow your mind just a little bit, and I think it'll ensure that you hit this expansion knowing what things to look out for. Another one is our big Denathrius sort of Dreadlord Cosmic Conspiracy video. That's one that is also essentially confirmed, and I think if you watch that video, you'll enjoy some aspects of Shadowlands quite a bit. Now, we do have a big deep lore video on the entire timeline of Warcraft as it relates to Shadowlands. We've got that in the works. It's probably going to take another 2 or so weeks to finish, though, so stay tuned. But there you go. That's a list of videos that will get you right up to speed and sort of in tune, in the right wavelength to enjoy the lore of this expansion. Okay, next up, I've got some homework for you this weekend. Okay, we're all going to be funneled into Bastion on launch night. It's going to be gridlock for leveling as people are competing for mob spawns. Just, everyone's being shoved into the same, very small number of quests. So players who can get ahead of that big pack, that big sort of cluster of problems, well, they will be ahead of the pack. They won't have as much competition for mobs, and they'll be able to enjoy, basically, a smoother leveling experience. Sounds good to me. How do you do it? Well, I think it's pretty simple. One thing you'll want to do is get stocked up on gunboots and goblin gliders ahead of time, especially the gunboots. Just any little things, a few strong movement items to just help you get, I think even if you're 5-10 minutes ahead of the pack, bam, it's going to be a lot more fresh. So do that, then play with a mob tagging first mindset, and ideally also play with a group of friends. If you do that, you should be able, I would say, to get ahead of the pack and to not be stuck in leveling gridlock. Speaking of leveling, well, the 16th anniversary event brought with it a 16% XP boost, and that's an XP boost that will end on Monday when Shadowlands releases. Add to that boost, though, the Draft of the 10 Lands, which is sold by the Service Medal vendor, and you've got a 26% XP boost. That's wild. I mean, that's on top of the already blazingly fast, leveling that we've got since Prepatch. So pretty good. I mean, this might actually be the best time to level characters in quite a long time, so I'd recommend getting to it now. Okay, this is an odd one, but I think it could be important. So I reinstalled WoW on my work rig in the office, And I found that WoW defaulted to having triple buffering and VSync enabled. And then Matt said that his experience was whenever he logged into Prepatch, those were turned on as well. Now, this resulted in input lag that to me, and I'll say I'm somebody, I like to play FPS games on 100 hertz monitor, so I do feel input lag quite a bit, but to me, basically, WoW felt literally unplayable like that. It felt horrible. And it seems to have been the default setting with Prepatch. So this happened, and it's got me spooked, right? Because I am now wondering how many people are playing a version of World of Warcraft where, their mouse and just has massive input lag. I don't know. It could be a lot of people. So check that those things are not turned on, because playing WoW with input lag kind of sucks. Next, a quick mindset thing for the start of the expansion. Like with any X-Pack, gathering will be very profitable towards the beginning, so the miners and the herbalists, they'll do very well indeed. So if you want to make some money while you're leveling up, be sure to throw that, on your character. Now, I would recommend, right, having a banking character set up in your home city. I'd then say, send materials to that banking character diligently as you're going through the Shadowlands. And I say this because prices will be extremely high very early on, and they'll fall as every few hours pass. So rather than getting a bunch of materials while you level and then waiting a few days to sell when you remember, no, just, get them, you may as well act fast, and then mail them to your banking alt, who's, of course, going to be conveniently placed beside an auction house, and then throw them in the auction house. You'll be able to make a good bit more money that way, and, that's basically it. In terms of other profession things, there's really not that much to prep for, and that's because each profession's skill rating is on a per expansion basis, so no matter how much of the past reps, or not reps, and professions you've done, won't matter. Everyone starts off on a clean slate with Shadowlands for profession, so there's nothing you got to do there. And that's basically it for this video. Essentially, I felt in myself a bit of that bundled up energy of, what am I going to do to get myself ready? And I thought, yeah, I'll just think of everything I could possibly do to make, for me, Monday night a bit smoother. And I put it in a video. Now you've watched that video, so that's it for the video, I think. Thank you for watching. If you would like to support what we do and also get some pretty damn cool loot in the process, you can check out the Patreon. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.